Okay, so this website, the Financial Literacy Project, is matched up with our booklet, with our simulation. So once you get to finlitproject.com, then I would like for you to point at simulated online banking and click instructions. And then let's read this together. So how does this relate to the booklet? The online banking simulation is preloaded with all of the transactions in the booklet not specifically identified as online transactions. The checks, deposits, debit card transactions, and ATM transactions all show up automatically online, just as they do in real life. There are no online transactions in January, so the January bank statement in the online simulation is the same as in the booklet. The booklet tells you to enter 4 online payments in February. 2 of those have February payment dates. Those transactions are not preloaded into the online simulation, and the month-end bank statements will not agree if you do not make those online payments in the online simulation. We are updating the booklet to be more specific about the payment dates. For now, you need to look at the monthly bank statement to see the actual payment date of each transaction. So wait. Assuming you want to stay in sync with the Your Checking Account booklet, your first online transaction will be a payment made on February 3rd. Time. The hardest thing to learn in the simulation is time management. Our world is three-dimensional, and today is simply today. In the simulation, today is whatever you say it is. If you're making an internet payment on February 3rd, the first thing you have to do is set the date of the simulation to February 3rd. This is done using the menu selection just to the right of the home button. Online payments have 2 dates attached to them: the date you actually keyed in the transaction and the date on which the payment is to be made. Let's say that on February 3rd, you want to make an online payment which is dated February 5th. You would set the date of the simulation to February 3rd. You would then go into Account Actions and select Bill Pay, and we're going to do this together, by the way, and then select Create New Bill Pay. Now you need to select a payee or create a new one if the desired payee isn't listed. The booklet gives you the names of the payees, but you are on your own for the addresses. Enter February 5th for payment date. Put the dollar amount into amount. Enter a brief description in memo. And finally hit submit. You might be tempted to go to account activity to see the payment, but it's still February 3rd in the simulation. So change the date to February 6th before you go to account activity, and you will see your payment on the 5th. Banks process transactions overnight, so a payment on February 5th might not be visible in your account until February 6th. This is true life. This is real. If you now change the date to February 4th and look in account activity, you will no longer be able to see the payment because it doesn't happen until tomorrow. It might not be visible online until the next day. So please go experiment with the demo account if this is not clear, and we'll do that in a little bit. So time restrictions. The simulation has 2 time restrictions that you should keep in mind. First, you typically must enter an online bill payment 2 or 3 days before the payment date, and in some cases, it's even longer if the bank has to send a check rather than an electronic notification. You might notice this if you cannot select the payment date you want. The second restriction is that once you make a transaction, you cannot go back in time and make an earlier transaction. If on February 3rd you make an online payment dated February 5th, you cannot go back and make a transaction on February 2nd. You can make another transaction on February 3rd, and you can change the date to an earlier date and look at your account activity, but you can only look. Errors. It's highly likely that you will make a mistake somewhere in the simulation, whether a wrong date or a wrong amount. You cannot erase an error, but you can reverse it. Let's say you put an online payment of $150, but it was supposed to be $15. Simply put in an online deposit for $150 on the same date. This will exactly set off the $150 payment. Now you can enter the $15 payment that you wanted in the first place. You will have 2 extra transactions in account activity, but they cancel out and your balance will now be correct. Similarly, if your error is on a direct deposit, just put in an offsetting payment and then put in the correct deposit. Okay, and if you have a problem not covered here, you can send them an email. Okay.